Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA Alevel Psychology 2021 Paper 3 Exemplar Answers for Relationships, which you need to know for AQA Alevel Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. Question 1. Describe Duck's phase model of relationship breakdown. 4 marks. Duck, 1982, proposed that relationship breakdown is not a single event but a process that unfolds over time through a series of stages. Each stage represents a threshold, where the dissatisfied partner's perception of the relationship changes, moving it closer to potential dissolution. These thresholds mark turning points that indicate when a partner becomes less willing or able to continue the relationship. Duck outlined 4 distinct phases: intrapsychic, dyadic, social, and grave dressing. Intrapsychic phase involves private dissatisfaction. One partner becomes unhappy with the relationship but has not yet shared this with the other person. They may begin to ruminate on the partner's faults, reflect on the relationship's shortcomings, and consider whether they would be better off ending it. In the dyadic phase, the dissatisfaction is voiced and discussed. Communication between partners increases, but it may be confrontational and emotionally charged. The couple discusses the state of the relationship, leading to feelings of anger, guilt, resentment, and frustration. They may talk about inequities, imbalances, or unmet expectations. There may be an attempt to repair the relationship through problem-solving or counseling, but if these attempts fail, the threshold is crossed to the next phase. In the social phase, the relationship breakdown becomes public. Partners begin to involve friends, family, or social networks, seeking support and possibly trying to justify their stance. Others may be asked to take sides, and blame is often assigned. Mutual friends may feel pressure to choose allegiance or help negotiate the terms of the breakup, such as custody of shared items or living arrangements. At this stage, repair is less likely, and the focus often shifts to managing the social consequences of the breakup. The involvement of others makes reconciliation more difficult, and the breakup often begins to feel irreversible. After the breakup, partners enter the grave dressing phase, where the focus is on making sense of the end of the relationship. Each person constructs a narrative that presents themselves in a favorable light, preserving self-esteem and social image. This often includes blaming the other partner, external circumstances, or reinterpreting early positive traits as flaws that contributed to the relationship's failure. The goal is to achieve a coherent and acceptable story for oneself and others, allowing each person to move forward and rebuild their identity for future relationships. This phase also helps people maintain their reputation in the social world post-breakup. The model is not about how relationships form or function, but how they dissolve over time. Each phase is marked by a threshold, a cognitive shift that increases the likelihood of progressing to the next stage. Duck also acknowledged that the model is flexible. Couples may not move through every stage in a linear fashion, and some may skip phases or move back and forth. Duck later added a 5th phase called the resurrection phase, where individuals reflect on the lessons learned and prepare for future relationships with new expectations and behaviors. Angie is trying internet dating for the first time. She is considering what information about herself to put in her online profile. Friend A tells Angie not to be shy and that she should disclose everything. Friend B warns Angie about the anonymity of the internet and says people can be very critical, so she should give out limited information at the start. Question 2. Use your knowledge of self-disclosure in virtual relationships to explain the advice given by Angie's friends. 4 marks. Friend A's advice is in line with the hyper-personal model of online relationships, Walther, 2011, suggesting greater and more rapid self-disclosure than in face-to-face relationships. The greater self-disclosure, as recommended by Friend A, is said to lead to virtual relationships developing more quickly, being more intense. Friend A's advice seems to reflect the stranger on a train effect, Bar 2002. Friend B warns against disinhibition which can occur in virtual relationships because of the anonymity and de-individuation. Disinhibition might lead to critical, aggressive, and unkind comment about Angie's personal disclosures. Question 3. Discuss what psychological research has told us about why people develop parasocial relationships. 16 marks. Parasocial relationships are one-sided connections where an individual becomes emotionally invested in someone who is unaware of their existence. These relationships often involve public figures, such as celebrities or social media influencers. At a basic level, parasocial relationships may simply provide entertainment. At more intense levels, they can stem from psychological factors such as absorption addiction or attachment issues, leading to deeper emotional dependence. McCutcheon et al., 2002, developed the Celebrity Attitude Scale, CAS, a questionnaire designed to measure both the strength and type of parasocial relationships individuals form with celebrities. Building on this, Maltby et al., 2006, identified 3 progressive levels of parasocial relationships using the CAS. The first level, entertainment social, is the least intense. At this stage, the celebrity is primarily viewed as a source of entertainment and a topic for social conversation. The second level, intense personal, reflects a deeper emotional investment, where individuals may experience frequent thoughts about the celebrity and form a strong emotional attachment. The most extreme level is borderline pathological, where individuals exhibit delusional beliefs, irrational behaviors, and obsessive thoughts that can interfere with their everyday functioning. These escalating levels demonstrate how parasocial relationships can intensify over time, directly supporting the absorption addiction model, which suggests that such relationships may deepen to fulfill unmet psychological needs. The absorption addiction model, proposed by McCutcheon et al., 2002, explains parasocial relationships as a psychological response to personal inadequacies or deficiencies in real life. Individuals who experience low self-esteem, a weak sense of identity, or unsatisfying social relationships may be particularly drawn to these one-sided relationships with celebrities. According to the model, some people use parasocial interactions as a way to escape reality or to compensate for what is lacking in their everyday lives. A strength of the absorption addiction model is that it has clear empirical support linking celebrity worship to poor psychological functioning. Maltby et al., 2005, found that teenage girls with intense personal parasocial relationships with celebrities often had poor body image, and this could lead to the development of eating disorders. This supports the model's claim that individuals become absorbed in celebrity lives and may escalate to an addictive level as a coping mechanism, particularly under stress or during adolescence. This evidence strengthens the model's validity and suggests that parasocial relationships can sometimes be maladaptive responses to psychological vulnerabilities. A limitation of the absorption addiction model is that it is more descriptive than explanatory. The model outlines how individuals become absorbed in celebrity lives and may develop addictive behaviors, but it does not explain why these traits or tendencies develop in the first place. This lack of explanatory depth means it cannot account for the root causes of parasocial relationships, unlike the attachment theory which links behavior to early childhood experiences and internal working models. As a result, the model is limited in its theoretical depth and cannot stand alone as a full explanation of parasocial attachments. The attachment theory explanation for parasocial relationships is rooted in early attachment styles formed between infants and their primary caregivers. According to Ainsworth, there are 3 primary types of attachment identified in infancy: secure, insecure avoidant, and insecure resistant. These early attachment styles influence the way individuals form relationships throughout their lives. Individuals with an insecure-resistant attachment style are seen as the most likely to form parasocial relationships. These individuals typically crave emotional intimacy but are fearful of rejection. In real-life relationships, this fear can lead to anxiety and difficulty forming secure bonds. Parasocial relationships, one-sided, emotionally invested relationships with media figures such as celebrities, provide a safe alternative. Because the celebrity is unaware of the relationship, there is no risk of rejection, allowing the individual to experience the emotional benefits of closeness without the anxiety associated with actual interpersonal interaction. Individuals with secure attachment styles are generally less likely to form parasocial relationships. Having been raised by loving and responsive caregivers, they typically develop into adults who are comfortable with intimacy and capable of forming healthy, reciprocal relationships in real life. As a result, they do not feel the need to seek emotional fulfillment through one-sided, parasocial bonds. On the other hand, individuals with an insecure avoidant attachment style tend to avoid emotional intimacy altogether. Often raised by caregivers who were emotionally distant or rejecting, they may grow up with trust issues and discomfort around close relationships. Because of their tendency to suppress emotional needs and avoid closeness, they are also unlikely to engage in parasocial relationships, which, despite being one-sided, still involve emotional investment and intimacy. A strength of the attachment theory explanation is that it is supported by research evidence linking insecure attachment styles to more intense parasocial relationships. For example, Cohen, 2004, studied 381 adults and found that those with anxious ambivalent attachment styles anticipated the most negative emotional responses, such as sadness, anger, and loneliness, when their favorite TV characters were removed. This supports the idea that individuals with insecure attachment styles are more likely to form parasocial relationships as a substitute for real-life attachments, consistent with Bowlby's theory of attachment, which suggests that early attachment issues create difficulties in forming healthy adult relationships. Parasocial bonds thus provide a safe base that compensates for this. Therefore, this study supports the view that early attachment patterns are predictive of later emotional dependencies, which strengthens the validity of the attachment theory as an explanation for parasocial relationships. A limitation of the attachment theory explanation is that some studies have failed to find a link between attachment style and parasocial relationships. McCutcheon et al., 2006, studied 299 participants and found no significant correlation between insecure attachment styles and attraction to celebrities. This contradicts the central claim of attachment theory that insecure-resistant individuals are more likely to form parasocial attachments. Although the study did find that people with insecure attachment styles were more likely to condone obsessive behaviors such as stalking, they were not more likely to be attracted to celebrities overall. This undermines the explanatory power of the attachment theory, suggesting it may not be a universally applicable explanation for all types of parasocial relationships. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.